Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be going through Team Vanilla with just over 5 days until the season starts. I know that there are quite a lot of popular picks that I'm going against from what I've seen, so this is sort of a culmination of a lot of my videos in general, with the likes and dislikes, the pods, the anti-pods, etc., and how I sort of feel about it. And it sort of shows where the community is at this point. I know that there are probably, and I wrote this down actually last night when I was sort of going through what video I was going to do today, was what is this sort of side that I think is a vanilla side in general, and what I would say most people would have. So I'll get to that when we develop this team. But anyway, let's just jump into this video today. So I'm going to do this off the cuff, so I'm going to do this just straight up with you guys, going through how we do this, and it'll be pretty easy to start, and then we'll do some adjustments at the end. So it looks like a lot of people, just from the top ownership of the keeper position, are going the Harper, Doran, forget about cash, forget about the wicket keeper position, focus on the flex position. I don't necessarily like that, because we've seen, and the Brain did a good, do I have it up here somewhere here? Notifications, here we go. This is the good one here. And I'll just steal his content for him here. You can see BBL 13, 12, and 11 are realistically the only ones we should be going off, given that the scoring changed in BBL 10. You can just flat out see that the scoring changed, I'm pretty sure. As you see here, that the batters were so much more influential in BBL 10. And then the bowler, and then here in BBL 9 it goes back a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that the batters changed, and that's why it changed a lot. But anyway, so BBL 11, 12, and 13, you'll see here that only only 5 wicketkeeper or batsmen were in the top 30. So 1 and 6 were from batters or wicketkeepers, and that includes 3 wicketkeepers, so 1 in 10. So there's a 1 in 10 chance that a wicketkeeper pops off. I want to have that opportunity, and I think it is going to be a Philippe or someone like that, or a Ben McDermott or someone like that. So I want that opportunity to own that player, and I want to have that look in round 1 to see who it is, basically. So that's why I don't necessarily agree with this strategy, especially if Harper doesn't play and you're effectively got 58k dud here, or if Harper does play, he's probably not going to do anything anyway. So you'd rather just fill that effectively with a 39k sort of dud player in general, so you're losing out almost 19k, it feels like. The batters here, Stoinis, Short, Maxwell, Fraser McGurk, and Sutherland are the 5 batters here. Let's just see if we can. I'll wait on the bench players to see how much cash we actually have left. Stoinis, this is an obvious one. Short, I think one of Short or Maxwell will be the obvious selection. And for the vanilla side, for the players that I sort of wrote down, I think Doran is the one that's going to be the obvious one. I know that Harper is still up there at, 35%, but I think he will drop and Doran will get up to 45%. Just because I think a lot of people will be trying to save that extra 19k, especially, well, it's not going to be done mid-round, but you're gonna realize, I think, early on that there's a lot of risk going with Buckingham and guys like that, because Doggett might be available, and you almost want to trade into them in round 2. But anyway, so Stoinis, he's an obvious pick at this point, especially with Maxwell out. And if Maxwell is out, which I'll replicate later in the video, then you'll see exactly what I'm going to do by that. But I think one of Short and Maxwell is a must, but obviously not both, as I think you can trade into them, and I think you can get a lot of value in the Renegades players, actually. I think there's a lot of value in the Renegades bowlers. But yeah, Maxwell and Short, there's just need one of them, and then you'd probably trade into the other one in round 2. McGurk and Sutherland are 2 guys that I am fading, even though they're high ownership. Probably the 2 biggest fades, I feel like, this year. Fraser McGurk, we explained it in this is on a Tuesday, so it would have been the Sunday video, the last video that I did, how effectively for him to win or be a good target, you almost need him to score about 105, 110. and I just don't see him scoring that. I think he scores somewhere in the 60 range, which is a 40 off and a 25 bonus effectively. So I think he does something like that. I think he gets a cheapie in the opening couple of rounds. We see here in his season stats here, you can see for 2025, let's look at the teams he plays against in 24-25. Let's see here. Nope, I want this. You'll see in 24-25, he plays against Sydney Sixers, Hobart, then Perth, and then Sydney Thunder, Adelaide. His first 3 games, like, I know a lot of people would be chucking him after the round 1, but if you were to keep him, you've got Perth as well, who he averages, look at these averages, 37 against Sixers, 17 against Hobart, 8 against Perth. Like, I know that he only really had his breakout year last year, but you can kind of see how he really is going to struggle. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he nicks off early against the Sixers at the SCG or something. And then suddenly he goes into the Hobart game at, where is that? Is that GMHBA? That might be. I don't know exactly where that GMS is, but he goes into that game needing effectively, if he nicks off early and gets, say, a 10 or 15, he may need a 70 or a 60 going into if he gets a catch or not. Probably bank him to get 1 catch in 2 games. He might need a 70 or a 60, in just to get to the 85, which is break even, and you're really looking for the guys that can really score. So if he needs a 60, that's a 35 off 15 or something like performance, and he just hasn't been in form. And so if you wanted to bump that up to needing a 105, 110, then that suddenly turns into a 45 or 50. That's suddenly really hard to get. Then we get to the Sutherland. He's just not bowling at the moment. He didn't bowl for Prahan, or Prahan or whatever in the Victorian Prem. We went through that on the weekend as well. We went through that live almost, and I can confirm to you he didn't bowl. So yeah, simple as that. Scored 4, scored 10 or whatever, or scored 4 and 8. I think off he scored 12 off 12 in 2 games effectively, I think. So yeah, no thank you. Then we get to the bowlers, and Adam Zampa, Aaron Hardy, Bo Webster, Tom Curran, and Will Salzman. We will keep that out there. And then we'll go to James Bazley. How much cash? 371k. Okay, do we have like a flex position? I can just put in I'll put in a Josh Philippe here. Okay, so there we go. So Adam Zampa, that's pretty obvious at this point that someone like him would be up there. 80k, I think it's almost a steal at that point. And yeah, I think that he is an obvious one to grab. Aaron Hardy at 177k. It sounds as if he's going to be dealing with an injury, so I would not be selecting him, to be honest with you, given that he might be a glorified batter at this point. I say that in the same sense that Bo Webster might almost be this glorified batter in the same way. It's much to the similar Marcus Stoinis. The problem is Marcus Stoinis is going to bat, well, these two are batting 3, but Marcus Stoinis probably bats 4, if not 5, but is half the price. Like, you have to get, instead of getting like a 50 average, 55 average, and I was talking with JG about this, and Scoobs about this as well, Nathan, and yeah, effectively, I view Bo Webster, and I might fade him in round 3. I might trade him out in round 2 to go against him in round 3, because he might turn into if you take out that 1 score against Sydney Thunder last year where he scored a 181, if we look at Bo Webster, you'll be able to see it in his season scoring. This round here, he scored a 217, which included a 181 against the Sydney Thunder. If you take that out, or just take out his bowling, his average, if you take out this 1 game for the year, his average dips down to 40.5, and he's priced at 54.5. Or 55.8. You can see he's priced at basically 55. So you take that out and he should be break even of 80, 81. If you take out his bowling, it takes out 30% of his score, which 70% of 55 or 56 is I don't even know, 35, 40, something like that. 0.7 times 55.8 is 39.06. So he's on multiple metrics when you take away his bowling efforts, which is what we sort of expect from Bo Webster, him down to 1 to 2 overs, not 3 to 4. If you take that away, he is a 39 to 40 guy. There you go. So I am therefore going to probably, if I see the roll of 1 to 2 overs, punt him in round 3. In round 2, and go against him in round 3. Especially because I think they have a harder schedule. Let me just check this quickly here. Who is their schedule? Round 3, they play Sydney Sixers, Sydney Thunder, where Bo Webster averages 32 and 39. He averages 39 against the Thunder, even though he scored a 181 against them. Like, I'm just saying, that's exactly how I feel about him. We talked about them. Tom Curran, easy pick. Locked and loaded. One of the only guys that hasn't left my side all year. Baisley returned in Prem Cricket for Queensland. In Queensland Prem Cricket, I should say. On the weekend, I think he bowled 6 overs, none for 18, or 3 overs, none for 18, whatever the way. It was some sort of none for 18 or something. Just doesn't get into the side for me. I think that they'll release Doggett from the test squad because Hazelwood looks fit as well. That was something that I was going to... I didn't actually save it, but that was something that I did look into and saw some video of Josh Hazelwood bowling post-match in Adelaide, and he looked all right. So he looks in line for the third test, which would mean that Abbott and also Doggett get released, I would expect. They may also hold Webster as well, which could be crazy if they hold Webster to... but I don't think they will. I think they'll hold... if they'll just hold probably Scott Boland, actually. They'll hold him back. I think they won't release Scotty Boland, I don't think, until at least the day of the game, which the day of the game is the 14th, so it could get over. But I don't expect Scotty Boland to honestly be released in full. And I don't know if they'll release the batsman and go down to 12, but it could be interesting for Inglis's sake, because he'll be the batsman they hold over. But I think Webster gets released, and I think Doggett and also Abbott get released, and Baisley just doesn't play because of that. Philippi in the flex position just because he is the next highest home player that's actually worth anything. And then the bench players that we have here, Sam Constas and Josh Inglis again. How much do we have? 59.5k. So Josh Inglis, you gotta go because we cannot afford you. I'll go Cooper Connolly here because then I can go, or not, I can go actually Tim David. How much do I have? 199k. So I probably have to go, you know what I'll do? I'll do Cooper Connolly, and then I'll go here and scroll down to Will Salzman and then Jordan Buckingham. There we go. So that's actually the number, like if you actually look at the flex position here, if you look at this and you go Philippi out, and then you actually look at it, I pretty much got every single top owned player other than Inglis, and that's down to Cooper Connolly. That's how easy this top owned team is. But anyway, on the bench, Constant, think he plays 39.5k. Yep. Cooper Connolly, a good round 2 guy at this point. I might trade into him, but also the problem is he's going to bat 6, I suspect, and then bowl 1 or 2 overs. It's kind of this nothingness role that you take for Stoinis, but Cooper Connolly's under an injury cloud, which we expect him to be available. I think I've heard something... The Perth strength and conditioning coach or whatever said that he should be ready, but we weren't not 100% yet. I don't think they expect him to, I think is what the latest were, but not 100%. So I'm not going to, you don't risk it on him. You trade into him if possible, but I don't think he has the greatest role anyway. Bowl 1 to 2, maybe 3 overs, and also because of Ashton Agar returning, could also get even worse. Because I expect him to go with 4 quick splash Agar plus Cooper Connolly batting 6. If that is the case, then Cooper Connolly batting 6 and maybe bowling 1 over. Just not a good role. Compare that to last year where he started at like 40k or 70k and you really jumped on him early and got that good cash generation. Whereas you're just not going to get it, I don't think, at this point in the year. So, not going to be one that I start, I think, a big fade. Constas is a guy that I will start probably, as he is a guy that I think can genuinely make some cash, and I think he's over Gilks at this point in the Thunder side. Salzman is a bat only at the moment. I don't think he is haven't seen him bowl yet in Prem Cricket in the last month or so, I think. So yeah, that is an issue there. And Buckingham, One of these two will play, one of these two will not play, simply put, in my opinion. So I don't think having both of them in your side is a good idea, and I'd rather, especially for me with the situation I'm in, rather trade into one of these than start them. So out of this, in my personal opinion, you've already got 1, 2, 3 dead players, plus also a lot of high-risk players. Connolly could potentially not be there 4. They may go with Doggett over Buckingham 5. So you may have 5 injury guys. And Constas is also a worry with Gilts, even though my belief is that Constas starts over Gilts. So that could be 6 guys. That could be your whole bench, plus Baisley not playing, if you went with this lineup. Plus also Sam Harper. So that could be 7 guys not playing. Like, yeah. That's there's too many high-risk players, I think, in that order. So, just to wrap this up with the notes that I did at like 2 a.m. last night. So the vanilla side I had, from what I sort of had as well as my side, was wicketkeeper Doran. The bat was a short / Maxwell, one of, but not both. Webster, Curran, Stoinis, and then Renshaw as well, who should be somewhere here. Matt Renshaw, yeah, one of the guys that just misses out. Could almost fit him in plus Tim David, but then again, we'll skip that. And then in the bowlers slot, you've got O'Neill. Where's O'Neill? Richardson still really high owns. I don't like that. Josh Brown, high owned. I don't mind Josh Brown at 15%. Fergus O'Neill here, I expect him to climb, especially with his Shield performances. Climb. Zampa as well, we know, obviously. Thornton, where's Thornton? 11%, I expect him to climb as well, given that he's a nailed-on starter. And then Mackenzie as well. Where is Mackenzie? Joe Clark down there. Where's Mackenzie? Joe Paris, Ben Duckett. Is Mackenzie less owned than Ben Duckett, who's going to be unavailable? Wow. Yeah, so I think a lot of people need to go back and revamp their sides, as if we just look at this, for unavailable players in round 1, I'm just thinking here currently, for confirmed unavailable players, you've got Michael Neser. You've got Michael Neser at 16% owned. You've got Nick Madison at 10% owned. You've got Ashnagar's in doubt, most likely out, but not 100% confirmed. Mitchell Perry at 9%, that's crazy. Ben Duckett at 8%. So you've already got like 36% ownership of players that are not available. Who else here is not available from the start? Just looking through here quickly. In the Jacob Bethel at 6%, not available at the start. Mitchell Marsh not available at the start, 5%. I've probably skipped over some of the Aussie players as well already. Mick Sweeney, 4% not available at the start of the year. Richard Hussain, 4% not available. Shea Hope, 4% not available. Ashton Agar, don't think he's going to be available. I think that's more confirmation of 4.1%. Scott Boland, 4% not available. Nathan Lyon, 3.4% not available. Who else here? Sam Amir, 2.9% not available. Akil Hussain, 2.8% not available. Travis Head, 2.7%. Lockie Ferguson is in doubt, but not 100%. And then you start going down the list here and you still see Steve Smith, 1.8%. So you start to get to those guys as well that are a little bit lower. But anyway, that pretty much is the video there, just going on the vanilla side and what I would sort of do as well, and how I would change it. But anyway, that's the video. If you did enjoy it on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload. And for those on Spotify, give me a follow and a rating so that you know when I upload is there as well on that platform there as well. So I'll see you guys in the next video, which will probably be something BBL related. I don't know exactly, probably another news update, as we've got more and more players. Prices confirmed for new players added to squads, and then also more injury updates, etc. As I said briefly in sections of this video. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.